Hey folks, this is Rhykker, and a new action RPG, Titan Quest II, just launched into early access recently. Is it good? Is it worth the $30 price point? We'll dive into all that, but here's the too long didn't watch version. The ancient Greek vibes are great. The game is approachable but unveils a depth of character building. Combat feels floaty and not very tight. The early access currently offers about 5 to 10 hours of content, with only 4 class masteries to choose from, so that can affect whether this is a buy now or wait for more content kind of deal. And you can find my video coverage of various ARPGs on my website, Rhykker.com, which I'm in the process of reworking to include more than just Diablo games. Which takes us to a word from this video's sponsor, Squarespace. I built my website using Squarespace, and I was able to do everything myself, quickly and easily, and with zero education in the field. All thanks to how easy Squarespace is to work with. Squarespace offers a ton of pre-made, professionally designed website templates for any kind of website, and also offers Blueprint AI, which is an AI-enhanced website builder to help you fully customize a beautiful-looking, personalized website made exactly for your needs and your unique identity. Squarespace even has optimized SEO tools, so you can launch your website and start getting views as quickly as possible through search engine traffic. Plus, they offer analytics to then review where your traffic is coming from. You can also sell products or services, with Squarespace providing everything you need to engage customers, from easy online payment methods to built-in tools for inventory, shipping, and fulfillment. And this includes custom merch. You just send in the designs and Squarespace handles everything else. Basically, if you want to build a website, I recommend Squarespace. So head to squarespace.com/Rhykker or click the link in the description to start your free trial and use code Rhykker to get 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain when you're ready to launch. That's squarespace.com/RHYKKER and use code Rhykker. Okay, so diving into the review here, again, this is early access. The devs do plan to release more content over time, and they're also planning to raise the price by the time of full launch. My understanding is to a full $50. At original launch, they had $30 with a 20% discount. I think that discount has gone away by the time this video is live. But just be aware that overall this feels more like a demo than it really does in early access. If you speed through the content, you can probably complete it in about 5 hours. If you go through every little nook and cranny, you can get maybe 10 hours. And if you replay that content over and over with new characters, obviously you can get more. But for the time being, there are only 4 masteries. So the way you create a class in Titan Quest II, you don't pick the class at character creation. Rather, as you are leveling your character, you get to pick one mastery, one of 4, and then you later get to pick a second mastery. So it's always a combination. You are building your own class by combining multiple masteries. Now, we know for sure there will be more masteries in the future. Right now, with only 4 to choose from, there aren't too many combinations you can come up with. Current masteries are Earth, Storm, Rogue, and Warfare. I went with Rogue and Storm because I wanted to try to make some kind of lightning rogue type character. So what I've built is an archer that imbues his arrows with lightning. When you first create your character, you can choose to customize it between male and female. There's a lot of preset appearances to select from. I was surprised that we couldn't customize those appearances. For now, there is a good number of different presets. My understanding is they might be either offering more in the future or allow for greater customization here. And I'll say right off the bat, I like the graphical style. It's realistic, but also stylized. So it's less realistic than Diablo 4, for instance, but more realistic than a Torchlight. In fact, it almost gives me the vibes of like the old Hercules cartoon that I used to watch as a kid. Now, the basic mechanics of controlling your character here. You start off, your basic attack costs you mana. You regenerate mana, they call it energy, relatively quickly, but everything you do, every kind of attack is going to cost some baseline amount of energy. As you learn more skills to learn more powerful abilities, those will cost increasing amounts of energy. You also have a dodge ability that gives you 2 charges by default on a cooldown. The way they handle potions. Potions are infinite. You don't have to keep picking up potions or buying potions, but they have charges, and you refill your potion charges for your health potions by dealing damage. And then you have energy potions as well, and those just refill naturally over time. I'm very critical of potion systems in general in ARPGs. I think this one is handled well. And speaking of potions, a cute little thing, I actually really like that in character inventory UI, you can actually see the potions on your belt. I think that's the first time I've seen that in any ARPG. So let's dive a little bit into Buildcraft here. When you level up or complete certain quests, there are progression systems built into things other than just leveling, so you can get different attribute and mastery points by doing little quests and side quests and main quests here and there. But you have your attributes. You have 4 primary attributes: agility, knowledge, might, and vigor. Agility is the equivalent of dexterity, knowledge is like intelligence, might is like strength, and vigor is like vitality or constitution or what have you. Now, those are your 4 primary abilities, but you'll notice we also have these secondary abilities: fitness, cunning, and resolve. So when you add points to agility, that raises your fitness and cunning as well. When you put points into knowledge, it raises your cunning and resolve. Put points into might, it raises your fitness and resolve, and vigor will raise all of them. Now, this is a game in which gear pieces have stat requirements, and that'll be both primary and secondary stats. So a big part of how I was allocating my points I found to be dependent on what kind of gear I wanted to equip. Now, on top of that, cunning adds poison and lightning damage, resolve adds fire and cold damage, fitness adds strike and pierce damage. Those are 2 different types of physical damage. So these stats, of course, also boost your damage output. So I found myself mostly putting into agility as well as into some knowledge because I am, again, a lightning build. And I found myself wearing some armor that was a little bit more mage-based. And so speaking of armor, I really like that armor has implicit affixes on it. So you have heavy armor, light armor, medium armor, all these things innately do different things on top of the affixes that can just roll for it being a magic or a rare tier item. So here I have a piece of light armor as a headpiece. It's giving me strike and pierce armor, again that's physical, and then light armor agility is giving me 25% increased dodge recovery rate. On my shoulders I have medium armor, which is implicitly giving me 12% increased dodge cooldown rate. Right, there's recovery, there's cooldown, 2 different things. Then on my arms I'm wearing Magos robes, which gives me energy barrier instead. Same thing with my pants, and then weapons as well also have different inherent affixes. So here I have a short bow, which has a base crit chance. I'm a crit build, so I was going for that. And you'll also notice that this has a high attack speed at 1.25 attacks per second. This is an agility-based bow. Over here we have a might-based bow, so it's a strength build. And it still has crit chance, but it has a slower attack speed and higher damage output. So you can actually make a strength-based archer character. If we go to the vendor here, you can see that there are other pieces of armor that inherently give thermic and natural resistances. What does that mean? Let's open up our details here. So your main defenses are physical armor as well as basically elemental resist. Thermal resist is fire and cold. Nature is lightning and poison. Those are the different damage types that we're dealing with in this game. But there's other kinds of defenses as well. A lot of heavy armor, for instance, has, here you have plus 6% glancing projectile hit chance. So all this to say that part of your build will be picking what kind of defenses you want to stack, or maybe you want to mix and match different kinds of defenses to fill out weaknesses in your build. So that's the attributes. Then you have your masteries. Again, as we said, you pick 2 fairly early on, and you also just have your core abilities. So as you get mastery points, like skill points, you are getting active points as well as passive points. So on the left is where you allocate your active points, and you also have your core abilities, which is just your basic attack. Everyone also gets a barrier ability. This is a 12-second cooldown power that's going to give you effectively a damage shield. And if you want, again, you can upgrade these things. You also have your core dodge ability. And as you see, as you allocate points into these, then you can upgrade them in a myriad of different ways. There is a lot of skill expression here in being able to customize how you want your different skills to operate. So to make this a little bit more clear, we'll take a look at this one over here, where I have 7 points allocated into it. So as you allocate points, you unlock these shields here, and it tells you unlock at level 1. So as soon as you put your first point into this, not only does it increase the effectiveness of that skill, but it also allows you to apply 1 point into one of these modifiers to change how it operates. I've went full into enhanced critical hits. As I said, I am a crit-based build. So this skill is an aura. It reserves mana in order to give me a crit aura. Then by the time I put 7 points into it, I was able to put 5 modifier points in. So I put all 5 into enhanced crits, but I could have spread these out, for instance, into other things. To look at a different one, for instance here, my main attack is a trick shot, which I have blasted all the way to 17, where I've put the 1 point into ranged weapon, which transforms the skill entirely, because I believe this just launches a projectile by default, but by taking ranged weapon, it instead makes it fire from your bow. Then again, I've got an enhanced crit, I've got enhanced damage, but for instance, there's other things like counter, deal more damage to channeling enemies, mark focus, deal more damage to your mark. Doom consumes doom on target to deal 2% more damage to it per doom consumed. So there's a lot of opportunity for synergy with different abilities, right? If I take mark for death, I can mark an enemy, and then I can build for that. I've also taken Vanish as a skill here, gain 30% increased move speed, 30% increased damage for 7 seconds, and I've just built this to have an enhanced duration. And then passive points are exactly just that. So here, again, I'm building into more damage and crit chance, but these also have little customization. So at level 8, I believe, I unlocked an ability to pick one of these 3. I selected increased crit damage. And you're not locked into just one choice. For instance, here with Arcane Influx, I wanted more energy regeneration, so I took the 2 nodes that give me even more energy regeneration. And you'll notice as well that these at the top are locked for me, and that's because you're also getting divinity points. So on the left here, you can see that I have my Rogue Divinity up to rank 3 to unlock the top bar. And over time, you can see there's even coming soon, there'll be higher rank. I guess that's like an ultimate skill or ultimate passive or who knows what. But again, I first built up my Rogue because I wanted to unlock my tier 3 Rogue passives and actives first, going for a specific build. And only now am I pumping my Divinity into Storm to unlock some Storm abilities. So you pick your first mastery pretty much immediately. You pick your second mastery by like level 5. It's very fast, faster than in previous games, I believe. So you get to feel like you're rocking and rolling and building up your own character relatively quickly. So I'm very satisfied with what I'm seeing with Buildcraft. It's just very limited right now with only 4 masteries. Now to talk a bit more about what's offered as the campaign, I'm really liking what we've been playing through so far. The intro cinematic from the start really lands, really cool, sets the tone for everything. Then as we load in, the entire game feels really seeped in that ancient Greek lore. I love just ancient mythos in general, whether it's Greek, Egyptian, Norse. I think they do a really good job of capturing the ancient Greek feel, from the aesthetics to the locations, the coastline, the accents, great voice acting, great characters. The quests are interesting, they're fun, they're engaging. The world itself feels well built. There's also like traversal opportunities where there's verticality. You're able to jump and climb in certain places. It's just a hotkey, or like in Diablo 4, but nonetheless, it helps make the world feel like it has greater dimension to it. There's an early sequence on as well where they do a delicious little foreshadowing where you see an enemy, a flying enemy's shadow swoop over the land, and it's like, oh man, I know that fight's coming up. They also had a chase sequence that made me feel like legitimately like I could actually fail this chase sequence. Chase sequences in video games, I feel, tend to be so on rails that it kind of feels like you can't actually fail, whereas this one, it got me nervous. I thought, oh man, I could actually die here. And the game's story altogether is filled with charm. It's serious where it needs to be, don't get me wrong, where there's a lot of humor, there's a lot of nudge nudge wink wink, a lot of funny characters, especially in the side quests, situations, but all again very seeped in ancient Greek lore. So the more you know about ancient Greek lore, the more, I guess, Easter eggs there are there to appreciate. Some of the quests are kind of like puzzles. For instance, there's one quest where you're basically given a riddle to solve, where it says something effectively like, you must kill here the creature from which Hermes built the first lyre. And I'm not gonna, spoil it, but figuring that out, maybe you need to Google something. But apart from that, let's talk a bit about loot. I'm gonna say right off the bat that in my, 5.5 hour playthrough here, I did not find a single piece of loot that excited me. I think that's unfortunate because I do think the itemization is strong, but I never got any item that was like, oh man, this is a great item for my character. Everything was just like, whatever. I found 2 items of epic level or epic quality, but I don't wield swords and I don't wield whatever this is, an axe. These items by themselves look good, right? Like, look at this hippocampus scapula. It's adding cold damage, poison damage, more energy, giving me energy regeneration and move speed. So if I was a two-hander, I would have been excited by this, right? I need energy regen. I like move speed. That would have been great. Can't use this item though. And Kina's sword is giving resistances, increased crit hit chance. You know, that's nice. That's a good amount of crit chance to land on a weapon. But yeah, just unfortunately, I don't know if it's just been a stroke of bad luck for me or just for whatever reason, the core itemization isn't exciting enough to have made me really got excited for literally any piece of loot that I saw in the game. And obviously that's not a good position for an action RPG to be in, given they are inherently loot-driven games. Now, we also know that there is going to be crafting in the game. For now, crafting is disabled. Cannot comment on what's not in the game yet. So I'm hoping that they are able to offer robust crafting and that something could happen with loot drops. Again, maybe I was just unlucky. At worst, it might require some kind of shakeup to how itemization works. Because for now, again, just no dopamine. Let's talk a bit about UI, UX stuff. So I really like this inventory menu. It feels retro, right? With all this little, you know, the Greek columns and everything. It's charming. It's well done. The game gives you a weapon swap, so you can have, you know, melee on one end, you can have range on the other, or however you want to divide your efforts here. Now, to cover some other rough edges here, the overall feel of the game, the moment-to-moment, movement feels kind of floaty, combat as well. I would say, like, compared to the other modern ARPGs out there right now, let's say, you know, Diablo 4, Path of Exile 2, Last Epoch, I would put Titan Quest 2 behind all those in terms of moment-to-moment feel. It feels more dated. It feels clunkier, less satisfying. I would even argue that Diablo 3 and Path of Exile 1 have better combat feel. I'll also add that more often than I expected, I wasn't sure whether an enemy was alive or dead when I first see it. It seems sometimes when they spawn in, they're like not moving, and I can't tell if it's a corpse or not. So some kind of better visual distinction or identification between a dead corpse and a living enemy that could be attacking me or that I should be attacking would be good. I don't know if this is just they need to have always animations going on or just some kind of better highlighting or the ragdoll needs to look more corpse-like, but that's more of a nitpick than anything. So, to bring this all together, should you buy this now? If you are looking for a classic ARPG, because this very much does feel like a classic ARPG with regards to both the systems as well as, you know, the kind of more antiquated combat feeling, right? If you really want a classic ARPG as opposed to just like an arcadey action RPG, and you're one who's going to care about, be it the setting, the campaign, the story, right? You're not just in it for the dopamine of the loot and the killing of the monsters, then I do recommend Titan Quest 2. We know for sure that they're going to be adding more content over time, so buying now allows you to buy in before it becomes more expensive. That said, if you super care about the moment-to-moment gameplay, the combat, the dopamine from the loot drops and all that, maybe you want to hold off, see the new crafting systems that get added, what other changes start to happen over time throughout early access before you buy in. So that's a wrap up my opinion, folks, but if you've tried out the game, do sound off with your opinion, or otherwise sound off with what 2 masteries you'd like to pick first. Thanks for watching. Special thanks to my supporters for making these videos possible. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up, share it, and subscribe to join Rhykker's Raiders for more ARPG content.